Hello, gentle viewers. This is Indian. Welcome back to Paths of Glory, the World War I board game designed by Ted Racier. We're beginning the 1915 turn, and as a reminder, at the end of this turn, the Allies are going to gain 1 VP because of the blockade. The VP tracker would have you believe the game is more or less neutral, but things are about to open up an awful lot. First of all, Germany has actually penetrated France's defenses, although France has made an interesting counterattack. So there's still a lot going on here in the West. Second, over in Russia, Germany has carved off bits of what was not at the time, but what would be again Poland. While a Russian army and 2 corps are besieging Königsberg. In Austria-Hungary, Russia is pushing them back, as it did historically. And we have the Ottoman Empire, which the game calls Turkey, which makes sense because most of what is the Ottoman Empire isn't even there. Has entered the war on the side of the Central Powers, so there's a lot that could happen up here. And Italy has also joined the war and has begun pushing into Austrian territory. Now, I have done one thing since the last episode. I took all of the tokens off of the boards, and I rolled the mandated offensives. I was looking to check capital rules, because there's a real chance that sometime during this turn, either Vienna or Budapest could fall before the end of winter 1915. But it's definitely not guaranteed. And this is going to be a very interesting turn for a lot of reasons. Daenerys has a bunch of very specific special movement rules that, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't really feel like getting into right now. But if they become important later on, then they become important later on. So, we've already rolled for offensives. Germany doesn't have to do anything. The Allied powers, Italy is expected to make an attack, which is going to be interesting. So let us switch to the Central Powers and begin with our first action. So, right off the bat, we've got a few interesting cards here. Let's look through them. We had that one before. Oberost really doesn't matter to us anymore. There's better things to use it for. We now have U-boats unleashed. Basically, this means... Oh, I haven't played HL Take Command yet, I don't think. So I can't use this. But this is a pretty powerful card. It reduces British replenishment points. Austria-Hungary. We have Bulgaria enters the war. We have War in Africa, which basically pulls a corps off the game. And we have German reinforcements. Now, getting Bulgaria into the game is only really going to help us take out Serbia. But it's not the worst idea to open up with that. Especially if the Allies also have a neutral entry, like, say, Romania or Greece or Albania. So there's a lot to be said about having Bulgaria enter the war. Even though it's going to take them a very long time to really make any big difference, it's not going to be useless. So I believe that's exact... Or... Because Bulgaria is not a big deal at this point in the game, Bulgaria would be a lot more helpful if Romania was in the game. Using this card for something other than as an event actually has a lot of appeal to me. That's a lot of ops or strategic development or a lot of replacement points. But what do we want to do this turn? I would not mind at all a pretty broad-based attack. Trying to wipe out the Belgians in Amiens, and maybe an attack here on Calais. Because it's going to force them to retreat. And I don't think you can retreat by sea. Let me just remind myself if you can retreat by sea or not. No, you can't retreat by sea. So what that essentially means is that we would actually wipe out 2 British armies if we won that war. And there's a lot to be said about attacking now. And trying to punch France out of the war. Now, if you take a capital, it doesn't cripple that country, but they can't spend RPs, and it makes it harder for them to place units with reinforcements. I don't have to use the Bulgaria card. Instead, I could start with Oberost and activate these 2 spaces, Cambrai and Ostend. Defeating Cambrai is going to open up this army to French counterattack, but they're pretty weak. These 2 French armies and 1 French corps is roughly the same military strength as this entire German army. And France can't easily retake Cambrai and put us out of supply. Now, we can't take London, so we can never actually knock them out of the war entirely. But yeah, I think this makes a ton of sense. And we're going to go ahead and play Oberost, and we're going to play it for ops. So we're going to do this. And we're going to do this. Activate these 2 spaces, Ostend and Cambrai, and we're going to do the Cambrai combat first. There's a lot to be said for playing the chlorine gas card, but it's actually not that necessary. Like, chances are pretty doggone good we're going to win this anyway. So, Germany's going to say, no, I don't wish to play any combat cards. Do the Allies have anything? That's for a French attack. I could play withdrawal to try to save this Belgian unit and pull them back to Rouen. But I frankly don't think it's worth it. Because, first of all, note that this withdrawal card, once you play it, gets removed from the game. It's got the little star. And second, preserving a Belgian army is not the best use of our abilities, in my opinion. In fact, I think it would be rather silly to waste our time with that. There's better uses for that card. So, so the Allied powers are going to say no cards for us either, so it comes down to a die roll. Germany's got a 5, Belgium's got a 1. Germany gets a 2 on a 5, that's a loss of 3. Belgium gets a 1 on a 1, which is no damage. And the Belgian army is removed from the game and replaced by a corps, if Belgium even has corps. Which oh, they do, they have 1 corps. And because it's more than 2 space, I have to retreat 2. So they're going to go 1, 2. That is a VP for the Central Powers. And we're going to go ahead and play a Central Powers marker in Cambria. Okay, that was the first step. And the reason that I did that attack first is because I had a pretty good feeling that I would be able to now encircle the Germans, or encircle the British. I could go for a flank attack. However, I don't believe the flank attack rules will permit me to do a flank attack with an army that's already moved or attacked for the pinning army. Yeah, I would basically have to it would have to attack from 2 or more spaces, so I can't do a flank attack. I mean, I could. It's possible that I'd win it, but also possible that I wouldn't. And it's not worth it, because this is going to be a very near thing. So near. Wiping out 2 British armies. If an army can't retreat, let's see here, who cannot perform retreat are eliminated. They do not get replaced by a corps. So yeah, this is definitely worth it, and the German player is going to go ahead and say, yeah, they're gonna play their chlorine gas now. It's the perfect time to play it, because this is this fight could very easily go either way, and a +1 to the die modifier is going to be massive. The British can't use the withdrawal card as much as they might like to, because they can't retreat through enemy-controlled territory or to an enemy space. I don't believe. They can retreat into an empty enemy controlled space. And legally they would have to, right? So what that's basically, so this is not going to be the massive attack I thought it would be. I didn't realize you could retreat into an enemy controlled but not occupied space. However, they would instantly be out of supply because they can't trace to... That's interesting. Can you trace to a capital, or does it have to be a supply source? Yeah, if we cut these units off from London... Oh, but you know what? Yeah, we actually can't make them out of supply. Because then they can trace all the way around through Le Havre to London. And these have a trace to a port, basically, that's friendly control. But it's still worth making this attack, because if we can weaken the British, we reduce their chances of being able to help. And what's most likely going to happen is I'm probably going to retreat to Chateau Thierry with any units that survive, and yeah. This is still worthwhile. I'm just not going to be able to eliminate those units as easily as I had hoped. However, if we can take some more of these allied ports, we can do a ton of damage and make it very, very difficult for the Allies. Like, I'll be honest, we could knock... No, because you said to any Allied controlled port. Yeah, if we took every single port... I think that would actually be it. I don't think any... I mean, it would be incredibly difficult to manage that, right? And if they're in the point to eliminate all of Allied supply, we would just... the game would probably just be over. Supply sources. All other allegiances, London. So yeah, as long as we cut off the ports and they can't trace to a friendly controlled port, then they can never be in supply. But that also means like taking out Italy and stuff too. So it's going to be a bit of a nightmare. Anyway, I am a little reconsidering this attack a tiny bit, but I still think it's worthwhile to reduce these two British armies. So, I play my chlorine gas. If I win the battle, I get to keep this +1. And if I don't, then it's removed from the game. But I feel pretty decent about our chances here. I have a 10. They have an 8. We get a 7, which doesn't actually matter because a 6 is a 6. So a 6 on a 10 is 7 losses. A 4 and a 6 to 8 is 4 losses. So they definitely lose. And now we attribute losses. I'm going to reduce one army. They're going to have to reduce both. And then they retreat up to 2 spaces. They're going to go here. As they cross through Cambria, that is no longer an access-controlled spot. I think. If you retreat through enemy-controlled territory, does it change occupation? They would only gain control of it if they retreat into it, not if they retreat through it. So then actually the Cambria space is still Central Powers control. Because I had to retreat 2 spaces. And, I mean, I guess I could have ended the turn on Sedan and returned that. But I don't really want to do that. I want to make sure that Paris is well defended. And then you're going to go ahead and advance into Calais with the full strength unit. That's another VP. A very solid opening turn, I think. And we get to keep, because we won the battle, we get to keep our chlorine gas. So we can use that. As long as we keep winning battles, we still have that. Now, we do have French phosphine gas. So if we want to get crazy, we could do some damage to that. Do I have French reinforcements, or do I just have Russian? I do have French. But because of stacking rules, I actually can't put an army there. Alright. Now the thing is, I can't replace either of... I can't replenish these units. Because they're under strength. And I'll be honest with you. I don't know that I like my chances. I could do a flank attack. It'd be 2 understrength armies against 3 corps. Is that a great idea? I'm not sure, man. I'm genuinely not sure. But I do know that the longer we take... Oh, this is besieged. Oh, I can't leave that space. Is it right to be full strength to do a siege? I don't think it does. I think I checked this last time around. Sorry, friends. This is what happens when I haven't played the game for a while. Siege. No, I just want to look at bases being besieged. Here we go. 15.2. It just has to be an army or corps equal to the loss factor. So then actually, I can't even besiege Trieste. That is not possible. Because I would have to basically have 3 armies in order to do it. So that was a goof on my part. If you commented on the last video and pointed that out that I couldn't do that, thank you very much. Okay. So I think what we want to do is we want to stack up here at Maggiore and then attack with 3 armies versus 3 corps. Are we going to win that fight? You know, I genuinely don't know, but we have to make the attack or lose a VP, and it's just not worth it to lose a VP this early in the game. So what do we want to do here? There's a lot to be said for entrenching right now. Like, there is a ton of value in doing that right now. And it's going to take some of the pressure off of things. And we get a free trench, too, which is pretty great, right? But I think one of the things we really want to make sure we get is we want to get a really good French RP card. Really, these are all 1? Man. Alright. Because until we get full strength French units, it's going to be hard for us to really press Germany. Like, let's talk this out, right? We could attack Strasbourg, but would be attacking into a trench, and it would just make Nancy an even more attractive target. I think, honestly, we need to keep pressing on Austria-Hungary. I think that is the path to victory, and also making sure that we can someday take this fort. And then moving to places like Danzig and stuff like that. So, Russian reinforcements. Does it just give me an army, or give me an army and 2? It gives me 2 armies. Two armies would be a big deal if I needed them right now. I mean, I guess... Look, it's pretty obvious that Germany wants to take, like, Kovno or Vilna. It's going to take them a while to get there, but it's pretty obvious that's what they're wanting to do, right? If I can get some units in that area, it could be a big deal. I could get 2 Russian cavalry corps, which I don't think this counts as a... I'm really tempted by entrench, in all honesty. I am super tempted by playing that now. Let's do it. I'm going to play entrench as an event. I get a free trench anywhere that has a friendly army in it. Yeah, I'm going to put it in Chernovitz. Because it doesn't say it has to be... Oh, as long as it's in supply, I can put a trench there. So I'm going to get me an allied trench. I'm going to put that bad boy in Chernovitz. And now both of us can actually use movements to entrench if we need to. So that gets removed from the game. And I'm just going to go ahead and put out both of these entrench markers. Just as a reminder that it can be done. Just so that I don't forget that we can do entrenching. Oh, it should be the blue space, not the white one. No, it should be white. Yeah, the allies are white. I don't know why the blue... I don't know why that was set that way, but yeah, this should be here. And that should be here. So just a friendly reminder for us that we can entrench. that is the end of my turn. As the allies, we switch back to the Central Powers. So, as Germany, I would very much like... it is not optional, it is mandatory that I keep attacking as Germany. Which means I have to get to Bialystok this turn. And then and only then can I start punching through Grodno and then move in to take Vilna. I don't have the Tsar takes command card right now, so that's not necessarily the end of the world, but it's not the worst thing either. As Germany, is there anywhere I'd like to attack? Or do I want to play one of these other cards? Austria-Hungary could really use some reinforcements right now. And if adequately deployed, they could make things very rough for Italy. Because remember, Italy is expected to make an attack this turn. So I'm going to go ahead and play Austria-Hungary Reinforcements. And that's just going to be 10th Army, and it gets removed from the game. There you are. And I'm going to put you in Vienna. And this is all of a sudden a much bigger threat to Italy. And that is Austria's turn. All right. Now, we've got a couple of options here. We could attack Austria as Russia. There's a lot to be said for that. Is there any good ops card? I could play Russian cavalry and get a couple of cavalry corps. But it has to be inside Russia. I don't have anywhere that I could place 2 corps except like up in Petrograd or something like that. That's not ideal. I'm going to play this Russian reinforcements card, not for reinforcements, but for ops. Or do I want to place it for RP? Because we could definitely use some French and British and Russian replacement forces. No, there's better choices for that card for that. So we're going to go ahead and discard this. It's being played for ops. We can't do a flank attack into Strasbourg because of their stupid jerkishness. That would be interesting. If I retake Cambrai... No, it wouldn't be enough because they could retrace through Ostend. So that won't be enough to knock him out of supply. So right now, Dijon and Bar-le-Duc are basically free real estate for Germany. I think one of the things we have to do is we're going to move these 2 French armies out of Paris. Yeah, we have to do it this way. As much as I would love to attack this turn, I can't afford it. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then the 2 British armies are going to be moving into Paris. The Brits are going to try to hold Paris, while France just basically digs in and hopes to slow them down. That's my turn. That was a pretty low-key turn in terms of being good, but it's fine, I suppose. Alright. One army for Germany isn't a big deal right now, but some replenishment points might be handy. I could get aggressive with Turkey, but we don't really have a great chance at that right now. I don't like this. War in Africa is not terrible. But if I was, like, I can look at the board, right? As Central Powers player, the Allies would probably just pick, okay, I'll take one of my reserve corps out of the game. Which isn't nothing, but it's certainly not enough. It doesn't make this card that great for that purpose. Although, I mean, it's also another war score, or not a war score, a war status, which gets us closer to total war. But I really feel like we need to keep working on Russia. I think that's what needs to happen more than anything right now. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to get some ops happening here. I'm going to play German Reinforcements for ops. I don't feel like one army is going to make a big difference. Not versus having 3 ops. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to activate this space for movement. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3. We're going to drop ourselves a Central Powers marker to remind ourselves we still have supply. That was 1. And I'm going to take these corps, like, one at a time. And we're going to start besieging Brest-Litovsk. And remember, as long as it's more than the loss factor of the fort, we can actually besiege this with no problem. Or would it actually just be a battle? No, I don't think you can actually fight. I think you have to fight an army. I don't think you can fight only a fort. Yeah, because you attack an unoccupied fort, it's just besieged. So that's fine. That's 2 ops, and then I've got a 3rd. I'm going to pull this army up from Calais. And we'll leave behind the Central Powers here. Like, this is certainly not a guaranteed victory, but if I can take Paris, a lot of big things will happen. And even more importantly, I can just ignore Paris and just start wrecking people's shit right now. I think that would be very, very good. So that is it for the Central Powers turn. The Allies are up. These 2 armies are incredibly threatening to the Allies. But there's just so little that can be done about it, unfortunately. I mean, there is one cheeky thing we could do, which is knock them out of supply. But the thing is, they can draw to... Wait, no. You can't draw supply to enemy-controlled units. So if I pull these armies out of Paris, and we retake Cambrai and Calais, these two German armies are out of supply. Because they can't control, they can't draw, they have to go through friendly territory. Did I make another huge goof as Germany? Yeah, I think I did. But hey, that's how this works, right? So, they're going to go ahead and they're going to get some ops. It is going to cost 2 to activate this space because it's 2 different nationalities. Yeah, they're going to go ahead and play the withdrawal card for ops. And they're going to go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. So here's what that move just did. And I am honestly feel extremely silly on the part of... It didn't occur to me. It did not occur to me when I made that move into Amiens that would have that impact. But that's massive. So that's 2 VP back for the Allies. But that's not even the most important thing that just happened here. These 2 armies are now out of supply. And now the whole complexion of this turn changes for Germany. Everything changes for Germany. They cannot afford to lose 2 armies. They just can't. So, it is now the Central Powers' turn. And it's going to take them 2 turns at least to get an attacking force into position to hit Cambrai. Which is the obvious play, right? We're going to want to take... Yeah... As the Central Powers, we're going to want to bring up at least 1 army so that we can just ruffle stomp this core. That's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to activate. We need ops. I'm going to play U-boats unleashed for ops. It doesn't do me any good right now. I'm only going to activate... How many spaces? That's 2, right? 2 is enough. I'm going to activate this space. I'm going to go 1, 2, and this space, 1. Now, Italy has not made their required attack this turn. Three armies against 3 corps is not a great number, especially in a space that's entrenched. I may just eat the VP. Because these units are all badly under strength. And it's just not worth it to get real crazy about it. So, what can I do to make sure that this poor little corps doesn't get raffle stomped? Well, I could pull this British army over, but then he's going to attack Calais. Because Germany's got that lurking +1. It'd really help if I could pull these reinforcements from somewhere else. If I am France. I need more French armies. Now all of a sudden the French 10th Army becomes massive. It becomes absolutely huge, because if I can drop that into Paris, I've got more flexibility. Because here's what's going to happen. A very, very obvious play. Germany's going to attack this corps. This corps is here to die. And if I pull this army out to here, does it really increase our chances of actually surviving if I use this for ops? Not really. Wait, when you strategically redeploy corps, where do those go again? And he's just getting a supply unit of the same nationality. So I could just go strategic redeployment and get ourselves 2 more corps here. And I can get a British corps over here. I have 1 more French corps somewhere else. I mean, I'm not going to use Great Retreat. Not yet. So I'm going to go ahead and use this for strategic redeployment. I get 4 of them. I'm going to bring out 1 British corps. 2 French corps. And probably 1 Russian corps somewhere. Like Grodno. Like, they're clearly coming for it, right? Let's try to slow them down. There we go. Alright. That is the Allied turn. Back to the Central Powers. I'm going to use this limited war card for replenishment, I think. I'd lose the Turkish one because I haven't used any Turkish units, but I think that's better than having Bulgaria join right now. So I'm going to play War in Africa for... No, I'm going to play Wireless Intercepts for ops. Wireless Intercepts for ops. That gives me 2 spaces. We're going to activate this space. And we're going to go... It's 3 core. I don't really need to activate the Amiens space, and I can't anyway. I need to get him back in supply. So that's 1. And then 2. Oh. Oh, that would be nasty. I can't do it this turn, but I could do it next turn if I weren't going to replenish. I could cut off their supplies. Insterburg is incredibly vulnerable right now. Oh, but you know what? I need to attack here. This is more important. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to attack Grodno. So we can try to get closer to getting our 1 additional VP so that we can eventually have the Tsar take command. And that'll have some very interesting effects on the game. So this is the other thing that's going to happen. We're doing 2 attacks this turn. Ironically, I could use the wireless flank attacks to right there, but there's also a chance if we get a big enough number here that we can actually take the fort out and not worry about besieging it. So I'm actually going to make this attack first, because I can guarantee that I'll have my chlorine gas. So this is army versus core. My total army strength is 9. Their core strength is 3. I get a 3. So that's going to be 4 losses. So everything gets reduced and 1 gets removed. It doesn't really matter. It was originally 3. They rolled a 2. They do exactly 1 damage to me. So I do have this core get weakened. However, by removing the core, they do keep the fort alive, and they are able to retreat. So they're going to retreat both of these units. It has to be 2 spaces, right? So it's going to go to Vilna and then Kovno. You have to stay behind, and a victory has been won, and that fort is now being besieged. There. And we now resolve, most importantly because I won the battle, I again get to keep my chlorine gas. And we're going to hit the French 3 cores here. I have a 6, they have a 3. I get a 2. So that inflicts 3 losses. So all 3 of these French corps are going to weaken up and they're just going to retreat to Paris. No, that's a lie. I need to make sure that it's actually enough of a difference. So I got a 2 on what was my total strength? 6. So 2 on a strength is 3. I got 1 on a 3, which is 1. So I did beat them by 2, and I do take... I mean, I'm going to lose a corps as Germany, but losing 1 corps is much better than losing 2 armies. So they're all going to retreat to Paris, where they're going to dig in. And these units are no longer out of supply. And because we've retaken Cambrai, we again gain 1 VP as the Central Powers. And that concludes my turn as the CP. Allies have 2 actions left, and they do very much want to get some RP in this game. But just getting French reinforcements wouldn't be terrible. Like, if I use my last 2 cards to get French and Russian reinforcements, I think we'd be in a lot better shape. You know what? One of these units retreated to Melun. That way I can actually put the army in Paris this time. The French armies are looking weak. What's the RP again? It's 2 for a corps? No, it's 1 to replenish an army or 2 to replenish... Or I can replenish 2 corps. And I can't play RP cards back to back. I could try to entrench. Like, make Paris a level 2. But I mean... Fine. Let's go ahead and play Russian Cavalry for RPs. So that's what? That's 2 Russian and 1 of everything else. Central Powers play their last card. I want to keep the Bulgarian entry. I also kind of want to keep the War in Africa card. Oh, no, right. I was going to do mass replenishment, wasn't I? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and use Bulgaria for that. Because it just doesn't matter. Like, getting Bulgaria in the war right now is not going to change anything. But getting 3 Austrian and 5 German replenishment points could be very, very big. So this would start here. That goes up to 5. You get 3. Turkey gets 2. Chlorine gas is now removed from the game. And the Allies are like, do I want 2 Russian armies or 1 French army? It's pretty clear next turn the Central Powers are going to be coming for us. So we're going to go ahead and play French reinforcements. That's the 10th army. It gets removed from the game. Put it in Paris. And that concludes the turn. Everyone's played all their cards. We do attrition. No one's out of supply. Sieges. Let's start with this Russian siege here in Königsberg. They got a 5. Remind me, am I trying to get above that number or below that number? I think it's above, right? I'm pretty sure it's above. Yeah, okay. So this fort is now destroyed. I'm going to lock that down. Which is a VP for the Allies. Nice. Other fortresses. Grodno. Let me grab the Central Power die from over here. I mean, they basically can't fail, right? Because all they need to do is... Or wait, would a 1 actually be a fail? Is it greater than or equal to? It has to be greater, so ironically, the only result they could have rolled is the one they did that failed. Let's come down here to Brest-Litovsk. That did succeed. Lock it down. Other sieges. There's none over here. There are no forts over here other than Paris. And everyone here is just kind of doing their own thing. Okie dokie. This is very annoying, by the way, if you're the German player, to see that you did not take this fort. But the German player's going to have to get over it, right? Siege phase done. War status phase. Nobody is close enough for total war yet. Replacement phase. Allies go first. They get 1 British, they're going to replace this army. So that is spent. The French could do 1 army or 2 corps. And I gotta be honest, replacing a corps doesn't sound super great because French corps is basically the same as French armies. Let's replace this. That makes Belfort a little bit less intriguing as a place to attack for Germany. That is France's point spent. Russia gets 2. That's 1. And that's 2. Because remember, it's 2 corps for an RP or one thing. What else can I do with RP? Oh, I can place an eliminated army. Oh, that would be 2 to recreate an eliminated army. Tempting, but not right now. Central powers now. Germany has 5. So they're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Are there any other German units? 4. And then how many corps can I put on the board for 1? I can place 2 eliminated corps at reduced strength or 1 full strength corps in the reserve box. Let's do that. No, let's put in 2 reduced strength corps. No, 1 full strength. It actually matters a lot for Germany. That is Austria. That is Germany's points spent. Drop that down to 1. Austria-Hungary gets 3. They would love to recreate the 3rd army. And how much does it cost to put a full strength army back onto the board? It costs 2. So very simple. 1. 2, 3. And I believe it has to be in a capital when you're recreating an army, because I think it follows strategic redeployment rules. Let me triple check that really quickly here. Yep. Okie dokie. That's the Austrian point spent, and the Turks took no casualties, so they can't do anything with theirs. Let's any of their units come into the game at reduced strength, but I don't think any of them do. So that's fine. Alright. The last thing we do in any given turn is we draw up to our hand limit of 8, so that's 6 new cards for the Allies. That's going to be 7 new cards for the Central Powers. We reduce 1 VP at the end of this turn because of the blockade. And we advance the turn tracker. And we're going to go ahead and remove all of the markers here. That would have been huge if we could have eliminated those 2 armies, but we didn't. Oh well. I could really use some really good replacements for the Allies. Oh, I take that back. We actually would lose a VP. So actually nothing happens because we didn't make our mandated offensive. We failed. Whoops. And I didn't get... Oh, I didn't spend my Italian RP, did I? I did get one of those too. Let's go ahead and make the 3rd army a full army. There we go. That's good, I guess. And then we're going to go a boop, a boop, a boop, a boop, a boop. Okay, we are now in the spring of 1915. let's take a look at our hand as essential powers. After, of course, we roll for our mandated offensives. Germany gets a 2. So, with this 2, they must make an attack with Austria-Hungary. I believe that means against Italy. I think that's the requirement. So let me see if that is indeed the case. That would be under the mandated offensives here. Oh. You don't have to attack... Oh, no, I see. I can... This is just for this specific thing. I can also attack any space in Italy. So there we go. And then a 3 is the Brits have to make an attack. Alright. Yeah, I think it's because there's not a very big army, so as long as they're attacking a space in Italy, that counts. But they're probably actually just going to attack this space here, to be honest with you. Like, 3 corps versus 1 army isn't the greatest, but it's also not the worst either. Alright, so what do I want to do here? We have German reinforcements. We have our withdrawal card. We have this 11th Army card. So basically the German 11th Army could actually be activated with Austrian units, but that's of minimal use to us right now. Reichstag Truce. Alpenkorps. Libyan Revolt. Place the Assan unit in Libya. It's always in supply. Interesting. And we have that War in Africa card. Where is Libya? It's right here. That's very spicy. That lets us take Alexandria. Oh, that is spicy. And it's going to force the British... where is the Assan unit, by the way? Is it an army or a corps? It's a corps, and it really sucks, but it's, like... It's free real estate. Like, I can just take Alexandria. I mean, then the British are probably going to attack Alexandria to try to get it back. But no, I think I'm going to save that for the moment. Do I just play the Reichstag card? I mean, here's the problem. A 4/4 card is way too powerful to waste just for 1 VP. I'm not going to give many VP for it. Alright. Now, we've got 2 options here. We can hit the Brits. Or we can take Paris. But I don't think we have the power to do both. Oh, we could do a massive mega attack on this space. Calais. Because I could activate 3 spaces and we could do a flank attack. And our supply lines would still be secure. So we're going to go ahead and play Reichstag Truce for Ops. Activate 1, 2, 3. Because remember, stacking doesn't apply during combat. It only applies during movement. Right? Wasn't that the lesson I learned last time about stacking? At all times except for SR and movement. But the thing is that they don't actually move until they attack. So yeah, we can definitely attack with 4 armies here. Hit them there. And I still have 1 more movement. Or 1 more space, rather. This is still besieged. If I move off of it, I instantly put myself out of supply, which would be pretty dumb, right? I think we get these 2 armies into Trieste. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That was my 4 space. And all I was doing was just moving. And now I can try to attack here and do some damage to Italy. That'll be pretty spicy. We're going to go and make a flank attack. And I get to add a +1 to it. Wait. No, there's no trench there. We're fine. Just remind myself of the flank attack rules. I get a +1. It would have to be a 4 or higher. Otherwise, I take my losses first. Is it worth the risk? I say it is. But wait, is it +1 per space? Yes. So I actually get a +2 to this. So let's do it. A 4. So we do make our flank attack, which means we do all of our damage to them before they get to do any damage to us. Which actually weakens how powerful they'll be in terms of... Yeah. Basically means that they're going to do less damage to me. I have 20... They have... Oh, sorry. So I've just done that. I have no combat cards that I wish to play. What about the allies? Ooh, very spicy. And that's not an attack, so I can't use phosphine gas. That's fine. Alright, so Germany has a 20. The Brits have... So let's resolve that first. I'm going to roll their die first. A 1. That's still 5 losses, though. And they have to take them if they can. So basically it's going to be reduce this army and lose this corps. And now they get to counterattack based on what's left. They did get a 6. Their total factor right now is 6. So a 6 on a 6 is a 5. So they actually did a decent amount of damage. I'll just say this army gets reduced. No, the one in Austin gets reduced because I'm not going to move it. They have to retreat up to 2 spaces, but they can't retreat by sea. They have nowhere to go. This was perfectly done, actually. We completely encircled them. We defeated them. They both get removed from the game. Permanently. Because they can't even put down any cores because they legally can't retreat. So these armies are gone. And we move... I'm just going to move 2 units up. And then we can still... I'm going to move this one up and this one up. Oh, that's very bad news for the Brits. And we gain a VP. That's extremely bad news for the Brits. That's 2 armies they'll never be able to get back because they couldn't legally retreat. Awesome sauce. I didn't like that. We're going to go ahead and play the MEF. Because if we don't play it now, we can't play Salonika, and we're probably going to want to play Salonika at some point. So we're going to go ahead and play MEF Reinforcements. I get to play the MEF army at any of the beachhead spaces. We're not going to do Gallipoli because that'd be real dumb. That'd be real dumb. We're not going to do what they did historically. That's just silly. Instead, we're to come down here to MEF 3. And then we can start trying to take Constantinople with it. We then increase our war status, as well as combined war status. Goes up to 14. Goes up to 8. And we remove this from the game. Getting in a total war would probably be a pretty great idea if we can pull it off this turn. All right. That was the Allied turn. Oh, sorry, that counts as an other event. Or does it? Or does it count as a reinforcement? No, it counts as a reinforcement because it said reinforcement on the card, remember? That's a British reinforcement. Let me make sure that's the case. There's this lovely thing here that talks about all the special movement rules. Near East special rules. Only certain armies can be activated there. Russia can switch maps with 1 corps. Turkey can do pretty much what they want. The Brits can strategically reinforce with the British or Australian corps. Okay. Very well. Central Powers, turn number 2. I really feel like... Oh, it looks for German units. Lame. The 11th Army is kind of situational. Kind of real situational. I'm going to go ahead and play it now for ops. What do we want to do with our ops? What do I want to do with our ops? It would take an extremely long time to get to Kiev. The blue circles are what kind of space? Oh, they're swamp. So we have to stop our movement there. That's fine. Okay, one of the attacks we're going to make was this one here. It is 3 core. No, we're going to make this one, sorry. 2 core versus 2 armies versus 1 army. That's one of the spaces we're going to activate. And let's just try to wipe out the Serbian army. Let's just do this. Big Austrian turn. Okay. So, we're going to start with this one. Although, I'm not going to choose no combat card. Does Italy have one they want to play? No, that's only for attack. And that's only for attack. Okay. So, we're just going to roll dice. We're going to start with this attack first. It's going to be 6 on 1. A 6. That's 3 losses. A 2. That's 2 losses. So they only retreat 1 space. However, it's actually enough to remove... Oh, no, wait. I forgot about the trench. I forgot about the trench. And it's a trench in the mountains, isn't it? No, it's not. That is not a mountain space. Alright, so we actually have to readjust this. So this moves to the left, and this moves to the right. So this actually drops from a 6-8 to a 5. A 2. Move over a 2. So we actually both take 2 losses. But that is enough to eliminate this army, which is then replaced by a core. But there is no advance and there is no retreat. Basically, it was a stalemate. However, most importantly, the Central Powers have indeed mandated their offensive this turn. And then we're going to come over to some hot Austrian v Serbian action here. That's going to be a 3 and a 1. So Austria is going to inflict 4 losses. Sorry, 3 losses. Serbia is going to inflict 2. So that's going to it's going to eliminate this army. Is going to get eliminated. It'll get replaced by a core that'll instantly be reduced. And then he's going to retreat to Skopje. But you're going to take a loss as well. No, actually, I can keep retreating, and I have to. Otherwise, I would just lose the core. So I'm just going to keep retreating back into that space. Wonder why that's red like that. Weird. Very weird. That doesn't do much except just push back the Serbian army. So that was helpful. Allies. They're going to play Lusitania. They want to try to get to Total War status and unlock the Total War cards. So that is an other event. And it gets removed from the game. So we're going to go up to 10, up to 16. So they'll be able to get there when they play Salonika a little bit later on. Unless Salonika counts as British reinforcements. It doesn't. Okay. That's fine. All right. Let's get some Austria-Hungary reinforcements. That's the 11th Army. Let me go a boop. I have a cunning plan. That's it for them. Alright, Russia needs to start getting active a bit more. And they definitely need to take Tannenberg so they don't get cut off. So they're going... We need to do some ops. I don't feel a rush to do Salonika, but I could do Czech Legion. It would eliminate an Austrian corps and give me a Russian corps. That could be a pretty spicy card. I could use Yudenich to get a Russian army in the Caucasus. That could help me start causing some havoc here. That would be quite nice. Get 2 more Russian armies. We have a ton of options here. It just becomes a question of what do we actually want to do with our options. Do we want to start trying to break through the Austrian lines? And I think we kind of do. And I think we want this to be a fairly large offensive. Just to take pressure off of Italy. Because right now Italy's looking mighty weak. And Austria is able to like pour reinforcements into Vienna instead of Budapest. I don't really care about the Czech Legion right now, so I'm gonna play this for ops. You are my opsy little boy. And that gives me 3 of them. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move this Russian army 1, 2 to there. I'm going to attack here. That's 2 spaces. And what I want to do with my 3rd space, I think it's pretty obvious. I'm going to pull everyone out of Königsberg and put them in Tannenberg. So I need to flag that as allied. There we go. There is 1 attack to deal with, which is 1 here in Stanislav. I could get more aggressive, but frankly, I'm just trying to keep them on their toes. I also should be paying more attention to the Near East. I just kind of tend to ignore it on both sides, which is likely a mistake on my part. But we'll deal with it later. Right, so this is going to be a 3v1. Oh, that would be real bad if that weren't on the core table. That's 1 loss and 0 losses. So you're going to retreat only 1 space, and Russia has that, and we put an allied token in Tarnople. Not too shabby. Not the greatest victory of all time, but an important one nonetheless. Now, Central Powers, what would you like to do? Now, this would be a really sneaky time to play War in Africa because there are actually no British full-strength corps in the map. And they're already starting to lose... Oh, no, they can use a reduced one there. Yeah, that's actually puts Britain in a really awkward position, so we're going to go ahead and play War in Africa as an event. Did I mark? No, this is correct. Yeah, it's correct. So, it's going to increase the Central Powers standing by 1. But more importantly, we get to remove one British corps from the map. And the Brits either have to give them a VP or lose a corps. They're going to hand them a VP. And the Germans are like, I will take that. Ideally, they would have loved to have seen one of these corps get removed, but it's not worth it for the British player because the ally gets to pick. So that's fine. That unit went off to Africa. Or whatever. Alright. Oh, the British have to attack this turn, don't they? And I definitely want to play Udenich this turn. Or not Udenich, sorry. Salonika. So that I can get into total war next turn for them. But I want to save Salonika for the last play. So we're going to go ahead and do some ops. I'm going to play Alpine troops or ops. What would I like to do with 2 ops? I could attack Munkac, and I think that makes a ton of sense to do exactly that. Keep pushing them back. Oh, but you know what? There's the British angle, too. I'd forgotten that. I had forgotten that. The British are expected to attack this turn. And I think they can't. Let me check the rules for British mandated offensives, or if it can be against Turkey. Yeah, they have to attack. So let me see here. Yeah, they have to attack a German unit. I have no units. Yeah, so I'm just gonna lose a. I'm just gonna gain a VP. I can't do anything to stop that. So then it does just make sense to keep pushing with Russia. Let's go ahead and drive on Munkac. That's gonna be 9v4. A 9. We have. Sorry, it's a 4 on. That's 5 losses. They have 4, so they inflict 2 losses. And how many losses did they take? They took 4. They will happily lose a corps rather than lose an army. And then the army's going to retreat 2 steps. They're definitely going to retreat to Cluj, and they'll probably stop at Debrecen. And then I'm going to advance 2 armies, and we're going to go ahead and mark Chernovitz as friendly to the Allies. Oakley dokley. Over to the Central Powers. The Libyan Revolt is kind of slick as a way to further pressure the Brits. Like, they can instantly take Alexandria, and the British corps are under strength. Where can Turkey strategically redeploy? Okay, so I can use it for the Turkish SN Corps. That makes perfect sense. Okay. It's a free victory point, and that's not nothing. Like, it's basically, I place him out there, and then either the Brits come up to defend it, or something else happens. I think German reinforcements would be a pretty smart idea. I really do like this card. And then if I can take Port Said, this unit in Cairo is out of supply. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play Libyan Revolt. That counts as a Turkish reinforcement. And they get the Asan Corps in Libya. I don't really know why it's called the Asan Corps. I don't know what the significance is of that. Oh, you know what? I can look it up in the manual super quick. Where did Libya go? Here you are. Because it lists all the units and what they mean in the glossary. It's the Senussi Tribal. Oh, there you go. So that unit's now on the board. That's going to make even more unpleasantness for the Allies. The Allies got 2 cards left to play. They want the last one to be Salonika. And I love Yudenich, but I'm not feeling rushed to do that. I want some RP. I actually want RP more than reinforcements, so we're going to play Russian reinforcements for RP. It's not my favorite play, but it's the play that has to be made right now. It's going to be 2 Russian, 1 French, 1 Italian, 1 British. Okay. Central Powers. What would you like to play with your final card? Yeah, that would be the silliest thing imaginable to ignore this opportunity. I'm going to go ahead and play... Oh, but we could use some reinforcements, maybe? Nah. Look, the chance of Germany attacking a mountain space anytime soon are pretty doggone low. I'm going to go ahead and play this last card for ops. And we're going to go activate this space. 1, 2. That's a VP. I mean, even if I lose this unit in doing this, it's kind of brilliant. And it gets us a free VP. However, there might be other things we wish to do. Like, keep hammering Italy, right? If I can break through here, I can cause so much havoc. Oh, this trench should be here because I was never actually able to defeat that legally. Yeah, that should have never left. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and attack this entrenched core here and try to break into Italy's soft underbelly as Austria. Or do I not do that and go for... No, I think I definitely do that. Yeah, we'll do it. There's no reason not to. And once we've cracked that particular code, the next turn we can start shuttling units where we need them the most. I think that sounds lovely. All right. Right. That's a 4-on-1. Except for not, because it's going to shift over, and you're going to shift up 1. That's still no damage by the allies. So this would be 2 losses, which is enough to just wipe out the core. The trench goes away. And the Austrian, just the Austrian Third Army advances into Udine. Because you can attack with a reduced strength army, you just can't move in with a reduced strength army, right? Or did I make another goof? Let's see here, attack. Attack. Yeah, you just can't advance with a reduced strength unit. That's right. Okay. That is the final play by the Central Powers. Now the Allies are gonna be all Salonika, bitch. So, the first thing we do is we increase the total war for the Allies. The second thing we do is we have to strategically redeploy core to Salonika. At least 1 up to 3. You know what? Let's do 2 British. Where is Salonika? It's in Greece. Yeah, so it's going to be 2 British corps and 1 French corps. I'll just do 2 British corps. I don't really care about it that much. This counts as strategic redeployment, so we have to use that particular choice. All right. Let me quickly check 9.3.3 to see if that rules anything terribly important. Okay, so we actually put the Greek units on the board, but it's still considered neutral for purposes of activating the units. So we're gonna do this. And where do I place my Greek units? Greece gets a core in Florina, Larissa, and Athens. Oh, do you get the generic... Do you get special core? Here it is. Yep. Athens... Larissa, And Florina. These are still neutral units, by the way. But yeah, they don't count as being in the war just yet. Oakley dokley. Now we're going to go ahead and remove this from... Yeah. Alright, another turn has been completed. No one is out of supply. Sieges. The Germans really want to take this garbage here. They just need to get better than a 1. Oh, they almost got a 1 again. But they succeeded. This fort is now destroyed, which means they can keep pushing next turn. Boop and a boop. Other places being besieged right now. I think that's it. Yeah, nowhere else is being besieged just yet. I do have to adjust victory points. The Central Powers get 1 because I did not make my mandated offensive. It was not possible for me to do. And now we check war commitment. And automatically I see that the Allies now have their total war deck. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to flip this over. Flip this over. Everything goes into the deck now. Very nice. These are all going to do this stuff. I just like doing this so I don't forget. Okay, so that phase is done. We now go to the replenishment phase. The Allies have 1 British. They're gonna, I believe you can do that to restore 2 corps on the map, right? Yes. So they're gonna go a boop, a boop, a boop. Sorry. Because the only 2 corps they have, right? Britain's in kind of a crappy way right now. France gets to spend 1 RP. There's no point in upgrading the French corps. Let's upgrade this French army here. That at least makes it possible for us to consider attacking Belfort. Oh, Belfort is allied. This entire time I should have been rolling for that being besieged. I feel dumb now. I also rolled the wrong die. After all the Central Powers die, it is the law. And we succeeded. Wow, how dense can I be? Apparently pretty doggone dense. Sorry about that, friends. This is why I'm not going to wait like another 2 weeks to play this game again. So it'll be fresher map. Where did my gray die go? Here it is. All right. So that was the French replenishment point. Now Russia gets 2 of them. That's 1. And I honestly wouldn't mind bringing back... If we bring back a reduced strength Russian army, I can recreate it. Perfect. And... Ooh, or we could bring... No, let's just go ahead and recreate the Russian Second Army. And we're going to recreate it here in the Caucasus. No. Kharkov. That makes more sense. I need to get these units where they can actually be helpful at some point. But that point is not here yet. Right. That's all finished. Germany has 1. Remember, they get 1 every turn. They don't have any low-strength units that I can see. Oh, they do. Boop. There we go. Their RP is spent. Another turn has been completed. We move on to the summer of 1915. And we're going to go ahead and draw up to our new hand limits. That is 6. That looks like a neutral entry. That's Romania. Interesting. Okay. All right. Central Powers, draw 6. The Tsar takes command. Very big deal. I would love to get that. If we take Warsaw... Oh, nice. Oh, that looks glorious. Turk determination. Very nice. Okay. So we now have the magic card that we need. Very nice. Right. The last thing I'm going to do with this episode, because I think it's run a bit long, and I need to get some food, and I also have some errands to run today, is I'm going to go ahead and roll me a couple of dice, and we're going to do the mandated defenses. Austria-Hungary must attack this turn. And we got Britain attacking again. Hope we got some British reinforcements. But that's going to be it for this episode. Hopefully everyone is enjoying. This has been a very interesting episode where what looked like a dramatic German mistake actually turned out to be a dramatic British mistake. We could have taken out 2 German armies, instead 2 British armies got routed because they couldn't retreat. We're rapidly encircling Paris, although to be honest, we could kind of ignore Paris if we wanted to. If we felt like it. Russia is pushing in on Austria-Hungary. Everything hasn't been all glorious, brilliant successes for the Central Powers. The Turkish theater's been mostly quiet, although it looks like there could be a fight in Egypt here very, very soon. Other than that, things have been pretty quiet there. Germany is dealing with a very minor Russian invasion that we've frankly just been ignoring because it's not really a threat to us. Like, to get the good Central Powers stuff, they have to be in West Germany. East Germany's got some stuff, but it's going to take them a while to take most of it. I just feel very little... I feel very little concern. Well, you know, I wanted to check the placement of the MEF before we officially end the episode. I think only the supply marker goes there. Let's see, it's under reinforcements. Or is it under Near East? MEF, special units, what's your deal? Okay, beach supplied units. Yeah, that makes sense. Let me look at 9.5, because I think that's where most of the... Here we go. Because I'm pretty sure... Here we go. MEF invasion. It goes in the same space as the army. It now counts as support. Got it. Okay. So we actually put the army here in Izmir, and then we need to grab... There's an MEF beachhead token. Here it is. So this is significant. This is their source of supply. And this is where they trace back to. The Central Powers retake this. That army is cut off. It also costs, and this is very not good, to activate the MEF. It costs 3 ops for 1 unit. So this is definitely not something we'll be moving very often at all. What did we get here? Ooh. Very nice. Some British reinforcements. We can bring Romania into the war. USA's not in the war yet, so we can't play that. So, in order for the USA to get into the war, the Zimmerman telegram needs to be allowed, which means the combined war SAS needs to be at 30. Bringing the US in would be pretty nice, but we're a ways away from this. Like, this is not going to be happening anytime soon. Russia's not going to surrender anytime soon. Yeah, bringing Romania into the war actually has a lot of fascination for us because it shores up the Russian flank and it gives us a chance to put even more pressure on Austria, maybe recover Belgrade, and get Serbia re-involved. So there's some value to that, to be certain. Although Romania's forces are also kind of crappy. Also kind of crappy. But that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching. And until next time, this has been Avindian, and I bid you good day.